What's up, everybody? This is my Blue review, Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 2, um, Infected. So we start off, somebody's feeding the zombies a rat through the fence hole. Just like at the end of Episode 1, we see this, and this is the beginning of Episode 2. And then we see Tyrese talking to Karen. I guess they're kind of together. I guess they're boyfriend, girlfriend, whatnot. He's singing to her, and then she leaves back. She's going back to her cell block, and while she's going over there, she stops by the showers and she grabs a pitcher, dunks it into a bucket of water, and puts it in the sink and starts putting the water on her face. And I believe it's the same water that Patrick from episode 1 was coughing into when he was sick. He coughed into that bucket of water, and now she's putting that water on her face. And then she walks back to her cell block, and she gets to her cell. She goes to bed, and Patrick is following her back to cell block C, and he's already a zombie. So he walks into somebody's cell and bites him right on the neck. And then that person becomes a zombie. So now we got another person that's a zombie. And it's cool because Patrick was eating his stomach area. And when that person turned into zombies, Patrick stopped eating and walked out and whatnot. And the guy got up and all his intestines fell out. Well, some of his intestines fell out. And it was pretty cool to see that, how the effects were on that. It was pretty cool. And then then we see Glenn and Maggie. Glenn takes a picture of Maggie while she's sleeping. That was it. That was basically what I remember from that episode, from that scene. And then we see Rick, Carl, and Michonne. Michonne's going on a run. She's asking what they need and whatnot, and then she leaves. And then Rick and Carl are talking. Rick is farming, and Carl, in that scene, Carl asks for his gun back, and Rick right away changed the subject. Then we get this girl screaming, and you hear gunshots, boom, and this girl screaming comes out, "Come on, help me, help us," or whatever. And Rick tells Carl to stay put and takes off. Michonne left, but she heard it, and she came back. Carl's opening the gate for her, and and she gets off her horse, and a zombie grabs her right away, and she was about to grab her sword, but the zombie grabbed her right away, and she's wrestling with these zombies, and Carl went to grab a rifle real quick, and she tripped over this rope, and Carl shot the zombie that was about to bite her, and then Maggie's right there, so she comes out to help him out, and then that was that. Meanwhile, when Rick went into the prison, Glenn is in there, Daryl's in there, everybody's in there, whatnot. And all hell's breaking loose. You see everybody running and screaming, and it's just crazy. It's a madhouse. So they started killing zombies and stuff. And there was a real cool scene where Glenn is actually, a zombie got Glenn and had him against the wall. And there's a cell. The cell door was open, which is just bars, right? If you've ever been in jail, you know what it is. But I never been in jail. I don't know. I just okay, Anyway, so the cell door is open, and Daryl sees Glenn, and he shoots his crossbow, and it went right through the cell door and killed the zombie. And the zombie was Patrick that was attacking Glenn, by the way. And it was a great shot by Daryl. He's just a badass. He's a rock star. That was a great shot, and makes me love him even more. And then there's this guy that got bit on the arm. Carol goes to his aid and takes him into his cell, and he's laying on a bed, and she's going to amputate his arm. She says, "Okay, I'm going to amputate your arm." And then he said, "Okay," and whatnot. And she grabs a knife, and she's about to do it, but she notices that he got bit on the back of the neck, and there's nothing she could do. And so the man tells her, "Can you please watch my children? They won't survive at all without somebody." And she says, "Okay." And then he says he wants to say goodbye to them. And she says, "Okay." So she went to go grab his girls. And he has two little girls, very adorable. And, they're crying, and he's holding their hand, and they're upset. So then he dies out, and Carol says, "Okay, stand outside," because she's gonna stab him in the neck or in the head or whatever. And one of the little girls said, "No, we should do it." And her little sister says, "No, I'm not gonna do it." And so she grabs a knife from Carol, and she's about to do it, but she has an asthma attack. So Carol just got the knife from her, and Carol did it herself. So now she's gonna take care of these two little girls, and then after that, Rick and Daryl are upstairs, and they killed one of the zombies that was in a cell, and they were noticing that this zombie that they just killed was not bit at all. He was not bit, so he was infected, and they're wondering what it could be. They're thinking that it is some type of flu that is going around that somebody caught, and now it's killing them and turning them into a zombie. And because everybody's infected anyway, as we learned in the end of season 2. So then, then there was a council meeting, and everyone's talking and whatnot, and then somebody heard somebody coughing outside of the council. It's like, oh crap, somebody's sick. So they go outside, and it's Karen. It's Tyrese's girlfriend, Karen. And Tyrese is taking Karen back to his cell, but they tell Tyrese, no, that's not a good idea. Let's put her somewhere else, and we also, because we don't want to be exposed to this. We might be exposed and whatnot, so really, let's go put her in cell block A. Whoever's sick is going to go there, whatnot. So Tyrese wasn't cool with it, but, hey, you have to do it. So they went and put her in cell block A, and she said that somebody else was sick. Some guy was sick. His name was David. And so David and Karen are now in cell block A, and they're sick. So then we have Daryl went to go dig, was talking to Carol, and then he mentions, I'm going to go out and bury the dead. So he went out there to bury the dead, and then we see Michonne getting her ankle wrapped by Beth, and Michonne saying, they should have left me. I don't want to get anybody else hurt because of her. And Beth said something very interesting, and she said, the people we care about, hurt comes apart as in the package. Hurt come if you care about somebody, hurt is a part of the package. There, I said it. So, which is interesting. I think somebody's going to die really soon because she said that. And I think it really sets the tone for what we're going to get probably in the next episode or whatnot. Then we see Beth singing to Judith, and she's carrying Judith, pacing back and forth, just carrying Judith, and then Judith throws up on her, and then she hands Michonne the baby, but Michonne didn't look like she didn't want to hold her. She's like, no, when she says hold her, and then eventually Michonne held her, and then Michonne just started crying, and it was like, we don't know Michonne's background. It's like, wow, we're going to probably be filled in later. Did she have a child that she's seen die? Did she have a family, all that? Because Michonne's a badass, but, we don't know her backstory, which is going to be interesting to how that's going to play out. So, Daryl's burying dead bodies. Rick comes over, and they're having a chat. Basically, what Daryl was saying in that chat was, if it ain't for Rick, none of this would have been possible. And, sorry, I'm shaking so much. And, Rick is basically in the back seat. He's not the leader. There's this council now, and Rick's not in it. There's this council. Rick looks like he's being more of a role model / father, and he's just taking care of everybody. He's in the back seat. He's not in the driver's seat. There's no Rick-tatorship. and it's just like that. He just doesn't want to be out doing what he did in the first 3 seasons. So you know that's that. So then Maggie's all like, "Oh, come out and help us." The zombies were pushing against the fence, and the fence looked like it was going to collapse. And then somebody saw that there was dead rats, so they know that somebody's feeding these damn things. So the fence is being pushed against. There was a cool scene with the zombie where his since they were pushing, one of the zombies' face was on the fence and it was being pushed, and one of his eyes just popped out and his head was opening, and it was pretty cool how they did that. And then nothing was working. It looked like it was going to collapse right on him. So then Rick looked back at the sheds where the pigs were, and he got an idea. So Daryl's driving this truck, and Rick's on the back, and he has some pigs with him, and they went outside the gate and whatnot, and they're outside, and they're trying to lure the zombies away from the gate. So Rick is cutting these pigs on the leg and throwing them while they're still alive, and the zombies are coming and eating them, and then they drive a little bit of distance, and they do it again, and then again, and I think they killed 3 pigs. So they killed the 3 pigs, and Rick looks like a mess. I don't know. He looks like looks like he's taking over that. That's the way he looked when he was a leader. So it looks like he's taking over back the leader position. Then then we see a scene with Carl and Carol, and Carol saying, "Please don't tell your dad," And then Carl said, "I'm not going to lie to my dad." And then Carol says, "Well, you're not lying. You're just not going to say anything." And then that was that. And then after the pigs and all that, Rick is burning the sheds down where the pigs were, and Carl comes over and tells Rick about Carol having this knife thingy, teaching these kids to defend themselves. Rick's all like, "Thank you for telling me." And he looked pissed. I thought, I was like, "Oh shit, Carol's going to get told off. He's going to go and just slap Carol in the face." And then Rick said, "I'm not going to say anything." And I was like, "Oh, well, there that goes, So he's burning the shed, and then he gets a toolbox and gives Carl his gun back. So he gives Carl the gun back. Basically, he trusts him, and then Rick puts on his gun belt with his revolver. So it looks like he's going to take over, and he's going to become the leader, and that's great because I love Rick when he makes decisions and stuff. That's the Rick we're used to seeing. We're not used to this Rick that's a farmer. He is a leader, and if it ain't for him, everything's fucked up. So, which Daryl kind of mentioned. So it's great to see him. It's great to see that. And then the last scene was Tyrese walking through the hall to cell block A. He's in cell block A. He gets to Karen's cell, and he sees blood, and he follows this trail of blood outside, and there's 2 burned bodies out there, and one of them's Karen, and the other one is the guy that she mentioned that was sick. So somebody burned them, killed them, and then burned them. So whoever this mystery person is, we don't know, and yeah, they just burned him. Yeah, just burned him, and he looks all in shock, and the episode was done. Well, things are getting very interesting. I give this episode 8 out of 10. It was very good, and now it's a virus, whatever this virus going around, which I called it. If you watched it in my previous episodes, I called it was a virus, and look, we got a virus. The next episode looks really crazy. Like, I saw some clips and stuff, and it looks really crazy. The next episode is going to be really, really good, I think. And we'll just see where it goes. Who is the mystery person? Tell me in the comments below. What are your thoughts about this episode? And like, subscribe. Thank you for viewing my stuff, and thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I can grow some more, get some recognition going. But thank you, and we'll talk more dead later. Thanks. Bye.